Okay, so it's 5:20 on the 10th, Sunday. Which will be a fun day. But so it's already getting light out, and the moon was so full. I gotta tell a weird story about last night, man. I was so fucking freaked out. So yesterday, let's see, I think I had gotten up at 1:30 or 2:30 or something. Seems like I was, yeah, see, some of these days just run into the other day. But I think it was yesterday, and I got up and I was, um, it seems like I was uncomfortable and I couldn't sleep good. But still, it's so uncomfortable and can't sleep good. So anyways, I got up and then I thought, well, I'll take a nap later. And I tried to take a nap and I couldn't get to sleep. I was super uncomfortable. I was like, fuck, man. So then, whatever, I got up and I can't really remember. But I know I went and floated with my mom yesterday. And she was telling me, well, we always have good talks when we're out there. It's really fun to go out there and float. See, it's so much better to not, when you get triggered or you feel reactive, it's so much better to not and put your relationship on this intensity. It's better just to let it breeze through you, breathe through your triggers, process what is being triggered in you, and then if you feel motivated, bring it up. Like that other day when we were floating, and I brought up about my kidnapping when David Hall kidnapped me and Jennifer. And so then she was telling me what she remembered about the whole thing, because I mean the guy didn't go to jail, and as far as but back then would he have? I mean, what is meant to be is meant to be. If he was meant to go and do that to a whole bunch of kids, there was no, I couldn't have stopped him, because that's what the plan was. Like, you can't interfere with the plan. You can't do anything to stop the trajectory of destiny. It has its own thing happening, and you're on the ride. And so you're just a bystander, and you get to witness yourself, just like kind of on the micro and macro, how we have all these people who keep having situations happen right around them, and then they pull out their phones and just start videotaping it, which is a part of my story I'm going to tell last night about, because I'm not one of those people. But there's a lot of those people, and to me, it's very disconnected from life. It's really strange. But also, I was raised in a different time when we didn't have cell phones. I wasn't our first go-to thing. Grab your phone. You were in the experience, and so you experienced what you were experiencing, and then you go back and talk about it and tell a story, which I'm going to do. But it keeps your relationship, I don't know, healthier, to not just be back and forth, there. And what I have noticed too, because I know I trigger her, is she does the same. She doesn't come and attack me over hers. We just kind of go and take a day to ourselves, and then when we get back together, we're laughing and having fun and talking just like normal. We don't have this tension constantly fighting over stupid shit. And so it's better, because then you can enjoy your time with the person, and you can take the triggers and work on you and process through what you need to process, and not, but that's, it seems to be the most common thing in our society, is somebody triggers you, you fire back, they fire back, and it just goes this back and forth where nothing progresses. People just get their feelings hurt more. People just feel more wounded and more isolated, rather than taking your trigger, understanding that that's what's meant to happen. You're meant to have these interactions that bring up things, because especially during this time period, I can't say for every different time period it's been like that. It's all been different experiences in the different windows of time. But in this time, in this period, we are meant to be purging all of our pain, our depth to our pain that is deep inside of us from multiple life experiences in this age of time, which is like, I don't know, they measured it like 28,000 years or something. But also, it doesn't even just have to be about Earth time. You could have lots of different experiences outside of Earth time, outside of Earth. And so it's wherever you and your soul group, go do the tour, go do the whatever, you go out and do, and go experience all different kinds of spaces and experiences. And I don't think all of them, can have so many traumas, but there's tons that do have a lot of trauma that you internalize, you carry it in your code. And so anyways, at this time, this is like a purging of all these old energies to lighten yourself, to get yourself back into the higher frequency. But you have a higher frequency that you are already. You just have to reconnect to that. And that's why this whole weird, spiritual kind of connection is happening for people, because you've got to connect to your higher mind, your higher vibration in yourself that's already present, but you got to pull into it. You got to find it in you, and then you got to go towards it. And in this world, every obstacle and every bit of your indoctrination and programming tells you that that's crazy. So you got to break through a lot of the programming, and through the programming you start seeing the false reality. And but to me it's a game, it's a soul game. It's like you come in, and the winning thing is to get to experience yourself, to get to witness yourself and see who and what you are in an experience. And the challenges are everything they put in front of you to distract you, to keep you distant from yourself and stuff. So it's challenging for sure. And we have a lot of people who are lost in the game, which there's a whole theory that people who are lost in the game have been lost there for a long time. But however it's going to go, people are going to continue to wake up, because it's part of the whole thing that's happening here. And the ones that by our sense of awakening don't, it's because they are meant to go experience the other things that are going to be, which there was a few things that my mom was saying when we were out floating. I was like, oh, maybe things are starting to really, because she's starting to be like, I've noticed I have an awareness of things where I like notice that other people don't. It's like, oh, really? Tell me more. And I always knew she was psychic. Like, I knew that was like, because I grew up with her, and I knew, I mean, and it goes through your family, which I would say, you're born with your gifts and stuff, but when you're around somebody who already has them, then it makes you focus on yours more. And so my kids are super psychic. I'm super psychic. I can see things, I can, it's just a part of life you can tune into. But anyways, but she's starting to notice it in herself as well. But I think that she's noticed for a long time, because it's crazy too how her and I have the same thoughts. We're so telepathically connected. And but I am with all of my kids. Like, there's a definite communication that goes on with all of them, and that isn't spoken. But anyways, but when we were up there, she was telling me, we're talking about a whole bunch of stuff, but she is saying the reason she had built her house back from the road, because everybody else is down by the road and all their yard is back behind. And I said, she's built up onto the hill. Everybody else is down here, where like it slopes down and then it kind of goes like that. So everybody else has built their house down on this part where it starts leveling out. But she went up her driveway. What I talk about is such good exercise, because it's such a pitched driveway. But then she built up here, and so she was saying the reason she had done that was because she was moving out of a neighborhood where there was like an invasion of your space by neighbors, which that were not meant to live that way. And so she didn't want to live like that again. She wanted to be living right next to people where everybody's watching everybody and stuff like that. So, and I've experienced that. Like, I know exactly. I think a lot of us have been through those experiences where, you know, there's some lonely person in your neighborhood, and every time you're outside, they're just zipping over there, and they monopolize your time and trying to fill their needs of loneliness and stuff. And it's all consuming. It's like, I just need some space where it's just, I can go outside and nobody's paying attention and stuff. So anyways, I was like, I could totally relate. I probably would have done the same thing, even though to, you know, the observer or whatever would think like, man, that's crazy. The Bill's way back there, but then the neighbor guy, he's doing the same thing. He's gone, and she's pissed. She's like, oh, why he's got to do that right next to my house? But anyways, hold on. This is my second cup because I just got up. I got up so late, and I'm so fucking exhausted. But anyways, so it was a really good time floating. And then I said, let's go float again today after the birthday cake. And then I was talking to my one daughter last night, which it ended up being two of my daughters last night, and one of my grandsons was at this barbecue that we did. And it was really fun, girls night, except for my little grandson. He's such a little character. God, he's cute. Oh my God, he's so cute. Oh my God, and he's so emotional. He just gets really into his emotions, and then he'll be like, I'm a good guy. You are such a good guy. My one daughter was like, you're the best guy. And he's, no, I'm a good guy. And he would get so upset, and then he would bury his head and start crying, and oh my God, he was so cute. But anyways, that was really fun because he's a little chatterbox now. He just talks. He was always talking all the time, but you couldn't understand what he was saying. Now you can pick up on what he's saying, and he's just cute as hell. So anyways, we were what was it? Oh yeah, so Monday, and I forgot I got to do the grooming thing, but right now she only had one dog, so I'll just have to go shampoo that dog, dry it, and then I'll just go, I think, and then, because that's what I did last time, so I'm sure. And then I'm gonna, my daughter's gonna come over, and we're gonna float out there. It's so nice and relaxing. It's relaxing. The water's, I don't know, it's just nice. And the water feels good. It's just nice. So, anyways, I go to the thing, and I'm going through all this part, like I was like seeing all this part that led up to it. I was like, was there something else in there I was gonna see? What there was in the afternoon, I didn't, because I was thinking, oh, I'll take a nap or something, but my daughter called me and she started talking about this thing on, well, I know it's on TikTok. I think pretty sure it's on Twitter too, but this lady who's going viral because she fell in love with her psychiatrist. And so she tells this whole long thing. And what is gone so viral is all of the judgment, all the people coming in and judging her. And so my daughter, who's also in mental health, is she wanted to talk about, like, you know, the whole thing. So I'm gonna talk some about that too. But this is what was so fucking weird. I have never had experience. This was weird. Like, there's all these weird things that keep happening around here all the fucking time. And but so the thing about her house, so her house is back here, and so there's like the woods goes, but still it's woods, and then there's a house, and then there's woods, and then down on the street level, though, there's a bunch of houses that go boom, 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 boom. But so she's back more by where there's a lot of trees. And so I was with my daughters, we were all having fun, and we're sitting there talking. And so I left way later than I was gonna, because it was, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't have a plan of a time. But anyways, I didn't leave until it was like almost 10 or something. And it was like 9:40 or something. And then it's like a half hour to get here. And then and then the dogs, they were so excited to see me. So get here, it's already pitch black outside. And, which is always creepy anyways. And it is weird too, is because once the moon got, because the moon was over there, and then once it got over here, it like was lighting it up like daylight. It was weird as shit. But at this time it was over here. It was huge and full. Huge. It's like it's way low or something. The whole thing's weird. Like, there's so much weird stuff about the moon. I think the moon is fake as fuck. I think the moon is some kind of a luminary that they use or something. You know, it's I don't know. This whole place is just fake as fuck. But you know, it really is fake as fuck. But it's also fake as fuck. So it's fake as fuck. But anyways, so so it's really, really dark. So I get here and I pull up in a park. And then I go open the garage door and the dogs come zooming out and they're so excited to see me. They're jumping all over me, licking me, and just excited as shit. And so then they all go out, go to the bathroom, and I come in and I start, you know, brushing my teeth and changing my clothes and all that stuff. And Stella wanted to eat again. And so I'm doing all of this stuff to get ready to go to bed. And and I'm trying to think, because it was, so all of a sudden they're all outside barking, and they're just barking their heads off. And I could hear something, but I wasn't sure what it was. And so I start walking over to go outside, because I was way over here. So I start walking and I can hear something as I get closer, and the dogs are going crazy. Once I get out there, I can hear all the dogs from this side of the neighborhood are all going crazy. Something's going on over here. And this is where it is so, I'm telling you, I cannot quit thinking about this. And I keep trying to figure out what in the world could make this sound. What in the world? And this is the part of, like, you know, I kind of wish I had a little bit more of that grab your phone, because it was going into my head, get your phone and get this sound. But there's so many times when I'm trying to have there be a sound and then it's like I can't hear it, and I was really focused on it. I was really trying to be like, what the fuck is this? And so I get out there and they're all barking, and I hear all the other dogs barking, and they're all going crazy, howling and barking and going crazy. And the noise is, I don't, at first I was like, is this like some kind of a mechanical noise? Like, is this somebody doing something? What is this? And I'm sitting there trying to listen and log it into my mind and trying to, you know, go through, like, what is this sound? And I was like, okay, is it, and I was like, is it a cat? Is it some kind of a cat fight? Is this kids out making a noise? Is this, like, I'm trying to figure out, because I've never heard, and I've lived in the woods over there and the other side. I've lived out on property. So I've heard, you know, coyote, I've heard animals, and this is nothing I've ever heard before. Nothing I've ever heard before. And so I kept trying to figure out what in the world could even make this noise. And it was obviously something that was getting killed. And it sounded like, and it went on for so fucking long. So fucking long. I kept thinking, how would I best describe this noise? Because I can't even make it. It was like this shrilling kind of a screaming, choking kind of sound. And you know, like when cats fight, there'll be this, like, this hissing and this stuff. So I kept thinking, okay, is a cat getting killed by something? Is it the fox out here killing a cat? But like when the coyotes, I would imagine that the fox would kill the cat fast too. Like, dogs know exactly what to do. As soon as they pick something up, they shake it, and that breaks its neck. And that's what the coyotes do. They pick up, they grab a cat or rabbit or bird, whatever, and they shake it real hard, and it breaks its neck. And so, most things are killed well before they're torn to shreds. And so So it should have died quick, but see, it wasn't. Nothing, it wasn't. It sounded like if you were being strangled and you're trying to scream and you're trying to breathe, like it was this long, long thing where I was like, is something out there strangling a cat? And, which, you know, I mean, a good, but I can't imagine a kid being out there in the woods doing that. Like, the kids that even live over there, they're young. I, I don't know, man. So it was this sound, like this screaming, choking, weird, like a almost sound like a machine or something. Where I start thinking like, okay, so is this an alien? Like, what the fuck is going on over here? And so I get the flashlight and I'm trying to shine it in there, thinking that this would stop it. No, it kept going. So I start yelling. I start going, hey, stop it, and stuff like that. That didn't do shit. And so I've got the flashlight and I'm looking and looking. And then over here, so in the pitch black, and keep in mind, like, so it was these woods, kind of like a slant, and then it goes way up. So it goes like this slant, and then it goes like this. Like, I mean, I think the deers, she's on the move, hold on. You want to go lay down over there? She's having a rough time, man. It's fucking fucked. It's so fucked. It's her whole back end just seems to be really hurting. And then this big thing open on her side. I just know she doesn't feel good. I just want this to be an episode we get through. And but see, she still is happy, wags her tail. She still wants to play. She wants to eat. She wants to TREATs. So, you know, she still has a zest of her life. She's still enjoying life, even though she has a rough time laying and being, you know. But I think about old people, you know, just even my own self when I can't get comfortable. And when I get a lot of inflammation, and I assume she does too, and I think it's something being sprayed, which, oh my God, this was such good news. Okay, I'll tell that in a minute. Let me finish this story because this is so fucking wacky. So, hold on. So I have the flashlight. Okay, so right here where we're at, so we're kind of level right here. And like I said, there's these trees right up here. Where I'm always like, it sounds like something's hitting into the side of the house. But and then I start thinking, well, the cats are hitting into something that's hitting into the house. But I don't know. There's this one board right over here by where the fence is. And if the cat jumps on it, then it would hit onto it. But I don't. Wherever the cat be going, it would have to be going into our little yard. And I don't think it would. Or it would have to be in this yard and then jump over it and use that fence to jump on. So it's just like, the whole thing is weird. Like, none of it makes sense. And, so anyways, but then there's a bunch of trees. And there's a bunch of forest debris all over the ground. And so you can hear, like I said before, I could hear when something's walking. Because you hear the things breaking underneath the steps. And so that was happening. And I could hear this breaking. And so I was like, this noise keeps going. The dogs all hear it. The dogs are all freaking. I can hear it. I can't fucking figure out what the fuck it is. It went on and on and on and on and on. Like an animal will kill another animal quick. This was insane. This was insane. And like, it does make you think, like, was it a kid out there strangling a cat? Like, am I gonna go out there and there's a cat hanging or something? Like, I want to go out and look and try and see today. I'm trying to see what the fuck is out there. What the fuck happened out here? Because it was so absolute insane. But as I'm looking with the flashlight, so over here, all of a sudden, there's two white things peering back at me. So I'm like, fuck, is that eyes? And they're like close, like it was an animal sitting over there watching me, or an alien. And so it's sitting over there, in which an alien is multiple. multi-dimensional beings. So what we think of as an alien is just all sorts of beings and creatures from all different dimensions and realms. And so, and some can be, I mean, the higher vibration ones have a harder time coming in because this is a lower vibration. But that's why, as we're raising our vibration, that's where we're going to get more access to this relationship. But in the lower, it's hard for them to come into the lower. They just like pass through, like with a portal. They use the portals to pass through and go into different realms and stuff like that. But it's not like we're a destination where they stop, because it's got so many, but it's a lot of negative, dark ones. But also people think of Bigfoot as being a scary monster, and Bigfoot is a higher dimensional being, but it comes into this realm all the time. And so, and I don't know if it's because its realm is right here, and it just kind of, like, I don't know. Like, wow, like there's just tons of realities and realms all around us. And so, yeah, there's tons of spirits around. Like, everything is just like, it's right there. You just can't see it. And so, but there's lots of stuff around you that you can't see or you don't have awareness of. But so anyways, so I'm looking at the flashlight, and so I'm looking and I'm like, okay, could this be a reflection? So something over there that's reflecting the light, and it looks like two eyes. And so I look away, and then I kept doing that, and it seemed like it was moving or trying to, I was like, oh, there's got to be something over there watching me. So something over here is watching me. This thing in front of me is doing some horrific thing is happening over here, and nothing is putting it off. The light's shining, me hollering, the dogs all barking, nothing is putting it off. And it's this slow, drawn out, I would say it was like 10 minutes of murder, whatever the fuck. It had to have killed the thing. I was nothing, I don't see how anything can make noises like that. That is, I mean, it's noises I've never heard before. It was horrific. And so and then I could hear the walking on the branches, and I couldn't even figure out what, like I was trying to be like, well, is it something? It's got something in its mouth and it's walking towards us. Is it like, it was so fucking creepy because it was just right out here. It wasn't far away. It was just like right, I mean, I would say 50 feet away or something. And the dogs were going so crazy. And then when it started coming and I could hear it walking towards us, I was like, get in here, especially like, it's like, fuck, I don't know, is this some big creature? And you're just gonna grab up Archie next and fucking horrifically murder him because he's small? I was like, it would have a harder time grabbing up Stella, but it could grab up Archie, or it could grab up Max, I would imagine. I don't know how big it was. I don't know what it was. And it seemed like a few times I could hear like like if you hear a horse just kind of breathe, how it sounds big. And I imagine probably if I was close enough to a moose or anything, it would probably be able to hear that. But it sounded like I could hear something that was breathing. I could hear this other thing screaming and dying and being choked out or whatever the fuck was going on. And then there's crunching in the woods. So then I was like trying to get the dogs in, and Stella was being so resistant. Finally get her in, get them all in. I shut the garage. I was like, no fucking way. I don't know what the fuck is out there. I don't know what the fuck it's doing, but it's definitely coming towards us. And so I shut the garage, went to bed, and then I was really calmed out. I was really in a good space in my dream world. I was hanging out with my person. We were busy all night. It seemed like we were out trying to save the world. We were out there being like activists or something. Oh, get this too. Hold on. God, I swear to God, things are so weird. This is so weird. So yesterday, remember I said that about this music festival that I kept seeing these people talking about, this music festival that's been going on for months. 24 hours a day, this music festival is going. And so in my head, I'm thinking of the red shoes or the dancing shoes, whatever that story was, which I don't know if everybody knows that story, because when I told my mom, and she's like, what story? I've never heard of it. I said, I don't know, it's folklore or something. I just remember it was these shoes, the shoemaker made them or something. They had a spell or something. I can't remember the whole story, if they stole the shoes, and I don't remember. I just remember when they put the shoes on, they couldn't stop. They couldn't stop dancing. They couldn't stop dancing. So that's what I was thinking with this music festival. Like, people are out there, they got the music going, and they just can't stop. It's been going months. They just can't stop. Stop the music. Let me out. But they just can't stop. And so, anyways, I made mention of that yesterday. But get this. This is, okay. This is so insane. So it's not a music festival. No, that's their, remember when it was, cute winter boots? They had the cute winter boots, because they keep coming up with these keywords, because the people who are in this collective of awakening, which is heavy into, the liberals, is, they have understood now about the censorship, which this was the good thing I was going to say before I say about this other thing. Because this other thing pissed me off yesterday. I was just like, what the fuck, man? But this is the thing I saw this morning. I was like, oh, hallelujah. It was, because I've been waiting on this, and we'll see, what happens, because we've been told, that they have to stop spraying us, and they just keep on going. So, but Donald is signed into executive order now, no more censorship. There will be no more protection of these social media platforms censoring us, and they will be held, there will be justice. For those of us who have been censored, the censorship will stop. And they've, I don't know, Brock or somebody put in a shield for them to be controlled, and so that they could decide what we could hear and what we couldn't hear and stuff. And so he is taking away that protection. So now they will be held accountable, and they cannot do that. It's against the law. It's against our First Amendment rights. Against, and I don't know if it's going to end up having to be like class action lawsuits and stuff like that, if a bunch of us are going to have to get together and say, like, because on mine, like, in order to be monetized, so you start getting paid for your videos, like on TikTok, where that's the big thing, where I could be in that, but once you are, if you don't put out their videos, so they'll put your videos as long as you are doing sale videos. So if you're just selling all day long, which, where is this? Like this kind of stuff. Only they're promoting it, but they are getting money off of it. I'm not doing that. I'm just showing you stuff I'm getting. And so I got this yesterday. This was the magnesium that I got. So I just took the first one last night, but you only take one, because my other magnesium, because it's glycinate, but there's like 12 strains. There's a lot of different magnesiums, and they all have different things. And the glycinate is one I've been taking, and I take 4 or 6 of these a day, plus do the spray on my feet. And so this is really high, and it has a whole bunch of different magnesiums. So I was like, well, fuck, I'm gonna try this. This is like $25, and this one I think is like 19 or something for the big one, but you can get a smaller one for cheaper. But if you take a bunch of them, you go through them fast. So anyways, these are higher. So anyways, but it's the videos where people on TikTok that they're just selling stuff. And that's what that censorship is. As long as it's just about consumerism and selling shit, but you can't talk about real things. And if you go into their program, and they're always trying to get me to do it, they send me things every day, join into this, whatever it's called, I can't remember, program. And it's because of how many followers I have on TikTok. But see, TikTok then restricts. It doesn't let my account grow. It doesn't let my videos be seen and stuff because I don't play along. But anyways, even if I did, it still would not be the videos that I wanted to put out that they would put up. It would only be ones where I was like, oh, get this, and here's a link right here. And then the people get money. And then you have video after video on there of people talking about how rich they're getting. They're just getting so rich by doing these paid promotions all day long. Which on here, I have been approached by a few different companies asking me if I will promote their products. And I don't want to do that because it's like I'm not using their products. I don't like the whole sales pitch on people. And so, you know, I'll talk about the things I'm using or doing and how they affect me, but I don't want to just be like, you know, well, I've got access to these many people, so I'll just try and sell them on this so I can get a kickback. It just is like a part of the system I don't like. And so I'm not going to just turn against my own morals and say, well, I can make some money. I can get a house. I can do this. I can do that. And so I haven't done any of that. And some of the products could be good products and stuff, but it's just like, I just don't want to do that. But so on YouTube, so on TikTok, it's one thing. You join into their creator program, whatever it's called, and you make money off of your sales, which there's still people who get into, like, it's still a third party in control of your income. And so it's drama still going because we're not meant to live like that. So it's going to be drama. It's going to be problems, and that's for the different people who do believe in it to go through the experience so that they can see, like, well, we don't want to do this. This is some bullshit. But there's lots of people who still have to, you know, play that role out to experience it. And then those of us who already know it, it's like, well, I'm not going to go play along because I already know it's bullshit. And but so anyways, there's drama, but you know, so people can be like making money, oh, they're doing so great, and do this, it's the best thing ever. And then you see creator after creator turning their platform into just commercials. Oh, buy this, buy this. It's so annoying. And so anyways, but on here, so to be monetized, where you get paid per view of your video. So TikTok, you get paid per view, but you have to sell. And then here, you get paid, but you have to have a certain amount of followers. Then you have to have a certain amount of views. And I thought that that's all it was, and I'm well past the amount of what was necessary. But it is the weekly. So they have a weekly amount of views that they want. That's where it comes in, where they hold my videos back, they tip back views and stuff like that. So they remove views. They literally remove views off of my video. It's like, how in the world, if something's viewed a certain amount of times, how does the number go backwards? It's like it's already been viewed. You can't take away the view. They do. So there's a mass manipulation in order to keep you from monetizing. And I you know, I take it, of course, towards the censorship. Like if I was talking about something that they wanted talked about, then they would, but when you're talking about stuff that they want to not be mainstream, then they hold your videos back. They just spin them out there. I don't know what the fuck they do. And so you have to get up to 4,000 views a week or something like that. And but when they hold them back, because I've got I don't know, way over 300,000 views when you only have to have 125,000 to be in the thing. But but how many videos I have too. So I have tons and tons of videos, but so they hold all those back. If they were all getting views all the time, I would easily be able to get 4,000 views, but they, you know, they don't do that. They don't let that happen. So anyways, but Donald is put it into the executive order. They cannot manipulate our accounts anymore. I've been waiting and waiting for that. Like I said, like, fuck, I'm waiting for him to remove censorship. So anyways, we'll see how it goes and see, because it's like it's programmed into a machine. I don't think a person's sitting there doing it. It's like they program it into a machine or something, into computers. So I don't know how it's all going to go. But I was like, fuck yeah, because then that still, it opens us up to be able to take them to court, to be able to, so I should start taking pictures all the time and seeing, but man, that's a lot to try and get evidence to show that they remove views and stuff like that. And then you got to get a lawyer, which a lot of the lawyers are just there to, because the lawyers, their whole thing is to protect the legal system. So they're there to protect the legal system, not there to protect us. That's a shenanigan. That's just a illusion. They're there to protect the corporation. And so, but that's why there's going to be a changeover in the legal system where it's going to be constitutional rather than corporate, because the Constitution protects us and the corporation developed its own its own rules to life and laws and stuff like that that gives them an umbrella of protection. And then you get these paid puppets to come in and get legislature through. That's the blessing about Donald, is he doesn't do those things that work against us. He's trying to get those things off of us, but that's what all of the big, the big wahoo, the big the big thing of why the corrupt people, puppets, the politicians, they try and stop it, because he's taking away all of the stuff and they're all going to be exposed. Which right now there's a really weird thing going that 25 of them are in the reel and 20 more are going, and they're both sides, both colors, they're all going. So it's something about exposing something, bet your ass. Like, there's nothing about this kind of weird shit that's not to expose something. So all these people going to the reel all of a sudden this week, it's like, okay, there's something going on, that's for sure. And it's going to be to expose the criminals, because 98% of the politicians are criminals. They've done things that are criminal activity. They've got charges on them. And some were so bad that they're already taken, and there's clones, people in masks, whatever. Some person playing the other person. And they aren't the original people. The original people had to already be dealt with, which there was pictures going around showing that this hunter, this great artist, lovely man, he isn't the original, but still the whole thing is, I would say it is, everything is so you can see yourself. So when they show this stuff, then it shows that all these people are like, oh yeah, he's so great. Well, then here comes the top, the laptop. That's going to come sliding into home, and it's boom, guess what? And then the people are going to be just like, oh my gosh, what the hell was I thinking? Oh my God, can you believe how horrible a person can be to do the stuff he's done? I mean, he's bad. And yeah, I mean, I don't know on the same level as Hillary, but he's bad. Like, there's some really, really sickos out there that, get off on hurting kids, and the ones that of different races and stuff in particular. And so it's just disturbing, man. And so anyways, but it is, they want that confirmation. They want that, they call it something about a walnut. And they know that certain particular colors have more of the essence, more of the gold, more of the, because they want the chrome, but they want it shined up. And they know what shines it up. And so they go for those particular people in order to get what they're looking for. So if you get my drift. Hopefully you do. But so because once censorship's lifted, I'm sure there's gonna be many of us still talking in code. Like, I don't know, can we really say what we want to say? I don't think so. It could be years from now until that happens. Oh yeah, okay, so that too. Okay, so so anyways, but once the thing is lifted, then it's gonna be like, and then I feel like, well, I feel like on YouTube, like, I don't know, there's weird stuff going with TikTok. Like, TikTok is supposed to September shut down, and then we're going to have American TikTok. We're no longer going to be on the international TikTok or something, because there's something about that they were getting our data or some, I don't know. But I always knew there was something weird about TikTok. And but YouTube has been around for a while, and there's tons and tons of people, and it's got tons and tons of information, tons and tons of things you can go and learn. Like, you want to figure out how to take apart your refrigerator, you want to take apart your mower, you want to learn how to play guitar, you want to learn how to paint, you want to learn how to cook, you want to learn about spirituality, you want to learn about healing, any of these kinds of things. Because the things I'm talking about, people are going and paying these motherfucking life coaches thousands of dollars. Like, it blows my mind. But to me, it's information is free, and I'm giving it for free. But there will be the platform. It's like the give and take, and so in the balance returning. And so you put out the videos. It's not like the people have to pay in order to access, but it keeps the people on the platform. So the platform has to pay you for your videos, and so it keeps people on their platform, and so that they have to give you money. And then you think, like, well, how the hell do they get money? Well, that's when they start putting in commercials and shit. Like, I pay YouTube to not see commercials, so I pay for the premium thing, so I don't have to have commercials, because I fucking can't stand commercials, which everybody's complaining now. The commercials are just nonstop. Drug, 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 drug. And they're all about a happy pill. It's going to save your life. That makes no sense. It's just all shenanigans, man. But anyways, but once that goes, then all the videos, all the views and stuff like that, then it would be YouTube having to pay me. So then but what I think is going to happen, because the people who own YouTube are also a part of the club, and they're going to get taken down. Like, they're getting taken down. No fucking way. No fucking way, man. I mean, they're deep in the club. So I think that it is going to go like public domain, whatever that is, where it's like our videos or something is like an investment. So I don't know. I don't know how it's all going to go, but things are going to restructure. So I know that there's going to be, it's like I'm pushing in and nothing's coming back, but it's going to give, and then things are going to come back, and then it's because it's been going for so long now, it seems like it's like a flood. Like, wherever you've been putting your energy, it's going to turn and come back to you. But at this point, it's been pushing and pushing and pushing, like you're pushing a boulder up a hill, and it can be very frustrating. But we're going to get up to the top of the hill, and that was such a good sign, that he's going to be changing this bullshit, and they're going to be held accountable, and these places are going to lose their platforms, but it's going to go back to public domain or something. It's going to go back to people being investing into it or something. But however it goes, it's going to be that it's going to finally start returning energy back to me, and not through you guys. That's what I've never understood about these people who call themselves life coaches, and these spiritual gurus who are going to life coach you and help you through all this stuff. And then they're charging these people what money, and making them feel like that they have to do this in order to raise their vibration and stuff. And so it gets weirder, because I want to talk about that in a second, but I'm going to go back to the dancing shoes thing, because, but I'm going to tell about the online girl too, the one who was with the psychiatrist, because I was Went through all her videos yesterday because my daughter was, because all I had been seeing is people talking smack on her. And the bullying is over the top. And so I'd been seeing all those videos, and my daughter was like, "You got to go and watch her videos." And so so I'm gonna talk about those in a minute, but I want to still talk about the dancing shoes, this music festival, and the speaking in code. And so I had no idea, even when I first started hearing about, uh, what were they called? Pretty winter boots, cute winter boots. Even when I started hearing about cute winter boots, I was like, okay, so which side is this that's saying this? Whose code is this? Who's talking to who here? And you have to really go in and, investigate, who I did, in order to figure out, like, who was the group that was speaking in this code about the cute winter boots. At the time, I think it was like, I don't know. The the one side has got so much hate and anger brewing in them, and they don't realize, like, the catalyst in the orange hair or whatever, orange man, that he is the catalyst for you to see the hate inside of you. So he brings it up out of you, but there's going to be a twist and a turn in there. But he's bringing it up in you, but it's so you can see all the hate in you. So that's where somewhere along all this hate being brewed up is going to suddenly be like, whoa, that's me. Oh my God, like, look at me. And so it's coming. I don't know how it's all going to play out, but it's coming. We can see it. We can watch it. We can watch the hate. We can watch the horribleness, like wishing death on me. Like, it's horrible, man. There's so much hatefulness. And so the okay, so I'll move faster. Okay, so anyways, so what this music festival in reality is, and there's tons of videos and pictures, but the news isn't talking about it. So they're all talking about it online, showing videos and stuff. But apparently this festival that is really a protest in LA, that has been going for months, 24 hours a day, day and night, that the people will not leave the streets. And one of the shots I saw, which I don't know, some of these shots, it's like, I just don't know if it's AI, if it's real or whatever, because it was huge. It was huge. It was city blocks long. And so I don't know if that was just one shot of one march, or if this was on the daily thing, because how would you even get around downtown LA if it was like this? And so it's like a war zone, and the battle, and they're out there with, like, the dancers all are masked up with so if they get tear gas and stuff. So it's crazy, and they are against that orange man. He's got to go. Like, that's just so, my God, it's so fucking crazy. But so anyways, it's not a music festival. It's this intense, hateful protest. And when I saw, I was like, oh my God, there is so much hate. How do people not realize, like, this is all inside of you? It's all to come up to the surface, but this hatefulness. This is you. And you keep wanting to blame it on him, but everything that's coming up is you. And it's so much division, and it's just so mind-blowing how people just cannot see the way forward is not through division. It's not through violence. It's not through anger. I mean, you're going to feel angry. You're going to go through anger and stuff. You're going to go through every emotion you have throughout this whole process. But you aren't to get stuck in them. You're to move through them and release them and notice them and be aware of what it is, what triggers you, be aware of yourself. But these people, it's like, and what blows my mind is, like, just, a year before, how long has it even been? I mean, since the beginning of since January. So before those other 4 years with that other fella, no, well, no reaction there. It's like, I don't know, that's no big deal. That was some fucking shenanigans and some fuckery the whole fucking time. But it's like, no, keep them asleep, keep them looking over here, and they don't pay any attention. Then give them keywords to drive their anger up to the surface and use him as the catalyst. And so all this overreaction, and all of a sudden, politics is the most major thing in the whole wide world, and this guy's destroying the world. It's like, okay, so he's out there getting peace treaties signed. He's got all these other countries that are loving him because everybody else wants to copy and go, and everybody wants peace, and they're all like, he's the one bringing it and stuff, but you guys can't see any of that. It's your own hate that's blinding you. It's your own your biases that's blinding you, in the media that is giving you the key words to ignite your anger is it's through manipulation and mind control and stuff, but it is the anger is inside of you in order to ignite it, and they keep thinking it's this guy, it's his fault. It's like, no, it's in you. And in just the hatefulness, like I've seen so many like people saying, we just got to go out and kill all these people and stuff like that. It's like, and you have, the extremist people who do go and do it. It's so crazy. And, and I don't know what the big thing is. It's going to, get the lights to come on so that the people see. But, he continues to do things to make things better for us, like the censorship thing. That is going to be fucking brilliant, man. Even lifting the censorship and having more people who talk about real things going more mainstream, rather than the people who have influence over people in the negative pushing their videos. And that's what, there's so many spiritual people who are becoming super frustrated. Like there was so many videos that were like, I don't follow all these spiritual people because I just think they're not really spiritual. It's all like a facade. But they're not really walking the walk. They're not really doing the work. They're just online trying to tell everybody else and become life coaches and shit. And trying to be worshipped for being, I don't even know. Like, it's so weird. There's so much weirdness. I mean, people can be getting elevated. It just like, I don't know. Some of them, they may know some things, but they don't know other things. But it's like, why would they be being elevated like this? And so, but there's a lot of misleading. So there was this whole thing on the Lionsgate Portal 88, which I've always been weirded out. They're constantly with these portals. There's a portal, there's a portal. It's a portal here, a portal there. It's like, do y'all know what portals are? Like, what are you fucking talking about? And then also the astrology. It's like, you keep basing all of this stuff on what they tell you the alignments are. You're not going out and looking for yourself. And nothing is lining up right. Everything is going crazy. And so it is, it just is weird. So, and I've seen some other people talking about, like, I don't know, some guy, I don't know, who's Hindu or something, Islam or something, I don't know. And he was saying, like, this is a very significant time because of this, this, and this. And, but this astrology thing is distracting from these other things that are really important. She can't get comfortable at all. Poor baby. Oh, I can't stand it. She's wagging her tail the whole time. Oh, we're gonna go out and do some barking. So, anyways, God, I get so stressed out about her and her pain. I just want her. I'm losing hope on that medbed thing. It's like, what is it, 10 years away now? I don't fucking know, man. But I don't know. I could lose her before we ever get to him. But we're all gonna lose things, I guess. So it's just this part of life is hard. It's gonna have a lot of loss. And I just don't know when it's gonna switch. When you just see so much hate and anger, it's like, but isn't it all to the surface? Can't we turn the lights on yet? It's like, God damn. But anyways, so The uh, the censorship, everything is being exposed. I don't know. I was talking about something, and then I swear to God, sometimes it's like something interferes with her to interfere with me, and I just know it is. But oh yeah, okay. So the spiritual thing, yeah. So you have these people who we're talking about this Lionsgate, and you got to get your manifestation in, spend the whole day thinking of what you want so you get it and stuff like. And then people, they go try these and it doesn't work, and then they think they're doing it wrong. It's like, no, you're listening to the wrong people is the problem, is that's ludicrous. The shit they're telling you is ludicrous. But and then some people are being charged for this information. And so anyways, but I was seeing all these videos of people who were like speaking out against the things like that, saying how stupid like this shit is. And nobody gets it. And these people who keep being elevated, their videos keep being pushed by the social media stuff, are misleading people. So there's lots of us who just find it super frustrating that it's, when you're really trying to teach people about how to connect to themselves and be spiritual and to move through life in this other way, and then there's all this stupid ass shit is fake as fuck, and people keep telling people, and then they get stuck in there and they don't understand. And, because manifestation is a lot harder and longer than what people understand. It's not a quick thing. It's not like, well, I'm just going to think it into existence. No, you got to take action towards it. When you take action towards it, you're going to run into obstacles. You're going to run into things that are a part of your path, a part of your journey, a part of your growth. And so it's a journey, it's a path, it's a work. It's not just like, but although you can manifest little things, like, oh, I need like with a toaster oven, I need a toaster oven. And then, my guidance tells me where it's at, where to go, how much it'll be. So I go over there and there it is. And so you can get that kind of thing. But when you're manifesting like your best life, when you're going towards your best life, it's a journey. It's not like you can just sit there and go like, well, I'm in a time jump and I'm going to go from this life to this life because I'm just going to use this portal and stuff. So people are telling people the wrong thing, and then people are getting upset because it's not working for them. And it's because the people are telling you wrong. That's the problem. And so that is one thing about this Kendra girl. And so this Kendra, she is the one who fell in love with her psychiatrist, and then she went online to talk about it. And then all I did was see video after video of people talking about her. And so I didn't go in and listen to her thing because it was like, I don't need to listen to this girl talk about what, fall in love with her psychiatrist. It's like, because there's so many people always online, attention seeking, just talking about shit. And a lot of people are out there trying to tell their stories and stuff like that. But anyways, I mean, listen to the stories that help you or impact you in some way, the ones that come to you. But um, but anyways, I didn't really have any big motivation to go listen to hers. But so anyways, my daughter, we started talking yesterday, and I said, she brought up Kendra, and I said, yeah, it's so crazy. She goes, you know who it is and stuff? And I've been like, yeah, it's like bug. It's constant all day long on my thing. And she's like, so she starts saying, well, have you listened to her? And I was like, no, I haven't listened to her. I just didn't really want to. I just hear everybody talking about her all the time. And she said, oh, you got to go listen to her. And so I listened to the whole thing. It's like 27 part series, but each video is like 1 minute, I think. It could be 3 minutes, I don't know, but it's short. It's not like 10-minute videos for each one. And so I go and start listening to them. And I was like, this is the thing, is that every single relationship, and this is where people have got to be honest with themselves, because you cannot play the victim. You have got to be able to look at yourself and be able to go, there's something I'm getting out of this. There's something that is feeding me back something in this toxicity. And it is going to continue through your life journey, through your patterns, until you become honest with yourself and you can break free from these ties that bind you into this toxic, uh, playing out these patterns. And so, but you have to figure out why it is that you are doing what you do, and you have to be honest with yourself. Drama. I bet that's probably a deer. It could be one of the cats though. But anyway, the um so the thing is because my daughter and I, we had a long conversation. We were talking about this whole thing because I don't know, she's somebody who's interested in how, but she's also from the GATE program. So see, this is that where they would catch you and they're trying to stop something, because she always was like me, looking at, what makes people tick? How's this work? How's that? So she's always been interested in mental health and how people, in program, or not programs so much as patterns and stuff, like why we do what we do and all of these different things. And she, she's the one who started in counseling when she was a teenager and has always been going to counseling. She's always been going to counseling because she's always trying to find her best self. She's always trying to understand herself and stuff. And, but see, there's something about that with the GATE program. I was just lucky that my guides, kept me out of that, because that wasn't what I was meant to be caught up in there, because they've been looking for us, I don't know, people who vibrate on a certain way of looking at life, and how to break out of these programs, how to break free from these patterns that are created, and but not fully understanding the whole thing. And so they were trying to see if I can talk louder. So they've been trying to interfere with that. But anyway, so when her and I talk, it's always like, we always have these deep talks about, things like that. And she was talking about a long time ago when she had a patient, and she just was starting out in mental health stuff. And she was an adult, but she was working with kids. And one of the kids fell in love with her, began stalking her, and became obsessed with her. It got creepy. And so when she's looking back and she was thinking about that and talking about it, and then we were talking about some other people and their patterns and stuff too. But it was, so it's like, but this is where when people can be honest with themselves, this is where you start seeing like, oh, I was getting something out of it. And that's where people don't want to face that. They don't want to face their shame or their guilt or whatever, because they don't want to think anything's wrong with them. It's this other person. That person was the problem. No, you have something in you that participates. That's why when I started realizing that in all my toxic relationships, where, so many people are, oh, you were abused, it's abusive relationship and stuff like that. But when you start pulling out of that and start being like, no, there was something I was getting out of it. There's some part I was playing in it. That's where you got to notice the part you play, because that is where you can really change things. And you got to be honest with yourself, And toxic relationships can give you something back. Like, it can be something as simple as like, well, I'm the good person. I'm the good one. And that feeds into someone's ego and stuff. So there can be a lot of numerous different things. But that's where you got to really look at yourself in every relationship that you consider toxic. What am I getting out of it? What am I trying to get out of it? Why am I participating? What is it I'm doing? And it will keep going until you suddenly go like, wait a minute, I'm not doing this anymore. You have to reevaluate yourself. And so this is kind of like this Kendra's journey, is this journey through her own psyche. And she's very well versed in the psychology and the lingo. And so she uses a lot of big words and stuff, like a lot of words that people that work in the field would talk. And another aspect of her is she's also this life coach thing. So I want to talk about that too, because she is charging this big money, and it's not. So what she's life coaching people through is attention deficit, and I'm attention deficit, and I'm, you could go and put a lot of labels on me. I mean, you could probably put schizophrenia on me, autistic, neurotype, all the things, because anything that you are outside of the parameters, they'll label you. So, man, what the drama is going on. So I don't, but I don't adhere to all these labels. But I know what some of my deficits in this parameter of living is. I swear to God, I want to go see what the fuck. And then, so, anyways, but I am anti-medication. I'm like, no, you can do things without that. That's gonna be a problem. Like, I don't like the quick fix, the little blue pill, like none of that. And so I don't take anything. Oh Lord. And so I so I am opposite of her in that way, because she believes in medication. And she also believes in ChatGPT. She's got a relationship with hers, and he's got a name, and they're buddies. And he's giving her guidance through life. And so, and it's helped her, whatever, and her meds have helped her, whatever. There's a lot of different approaches in life. But so for her coaching, you had to pay, because there was a girl talking about, like, she was trying to, because her coaching platform is like to help people get off of street drugs, to self-medicate and get on to prescription drugs, to move yourself into a healthier thing, which, so this girl who was going to go and be the life coached by her, and you have to sign all these contracts and stuff. It's $1,000 a month. You got to have a minimum of 3 months or something. She was trying to get help for her addiction to the street stuff, because she's self-medicated. And there's ways that you can readjust yourself. Like, I have been an oddball for a long time. Like, I had to figure out how to adjust my own self. You have to figure out how, what are your deficits, and how can you approach them. Be aware, have awareness of your deficits, so that you can approach them and do things to keep yourself. And so, keep yourself in your own parameters. How, like for me, it was like I knew I had a problem, because all through school, like when the teacher started talking, I was gone. I was out of the room. I was no longer in the room. And so when I went to nursing school, it's like, well, fuck, man. So what I would do is stay focused on what they were saying by writing it, highlighting it, writing notes and stuff like that. So stay really focused on what they're saying, rather than just zone out, because I can go out into a trance. Like, I can just zone out, like, I can have communication at the same time I'm talking. So it's easy for me to go out into the great unknown. And they come all proud of themselves, like, fuck, we did our work. You guys are just on top of it, man. You are so on top of it. Okay, yeah, you did a great job. Gotta be so, like, we did it, Mom. We did it. We got things handled. Okay, good job. So, shake it off, dude. Shake it off. He gets so, like, oh, he's such a little spaz. This one's Max. Max the spaz. And so, anyways, the life coach, so she's charging all this money to coach people, and then this girl who went through her program or whatever and paid this money, she is speaking out like she didn't do any of that. She didn't help me anything with the drug thing. She just talked about the because Kendra herself said, she talks to her guides all the time. She says she talks to her guides. She also talks to ChatGPT. So ChatGPT or her guides told her that she is an oracle. And well, mine told me the same thing. So and I was like, when I looked up what an oracle was, it was like to me, it was like somebody. It's like a portal to new information. So it's like you're bringing in information, and so it's an access. And so an oracle is like a window to look into other information or something. It's like so, anyways, but hers is saying a lot of the same stuff that I have been being told. And so I was like, I have no idea. But so she said that, but she's really into the chat GPT, into the AI thing. So maybe, I have no idea because I'm like, no, talk to your guides, not the chat GPT. Like, there's a whole breakdown on that kind of thing. So I don't know. But so this girl who I saw this morning, who she was one of her customers. And it's funny because last night when I watched all Kendra's things, she made mention of this girl. And this girl is speaking out against her. And it was her, she thought they were friends. And it's a whole drama. She thought they were friends, and she was being her coach and all this stuff. And then now she's blocked her, and she's going against her, and she's trying to jump on board on this, make fun of Kendra situation or something and get views and likes for it. So I don't know, people's motivation and their intentions. It's something that we could only speculate. It's you, but you can't hide from your own. That's where you're going to have to face your own stuff. You're going to have to face yourself. So it's on you. Do you? It's your journey. It's your life. And so whatever her motivation is or whatever for doing this, she makes like she's trying to help people understand or something. So, but she said, so she was supposed to be helped over her addiction and to stuff, to self-medicate for her attention deficit. This lady's big thing, is to help people with attention deficit. My whole thing with attention deficit, like I've talked about before, is like, you got to witness, you got to see what your issues are. Like if you have big problems with organization, if you have big like it's different things. You got to figure out like what your problems are and then figure out how to approach it, how you can do different. You can make the changes you want to make. You're not stuck. You're not just a fucking thing stuck. You got to unstick yourself. And so, and I don't think, you got to go take a pill, you got to do this, you got to do that. You got to just be real with yourself and you got to unstick yourself. And so, anyways, yeah, so this girl said that she didn't help her with anything with the addiction, but she kept talking about this stuff that was going to happen and being an oracle. And she told her, you need to get counseling, you need to talk to your chat GPT. So your chat GPT is supposed to help you with your problems. And then she said, but in 2027, there's going to be, what was it? She referred to it as not a redemption, it's a word that is like, oh, what is that word? I'll put it in the comments. I'm going to go look and see what the word is because it's a word I've heard before. Not rendering, but not rapture. It was a different word. And maybe one that her chat GPT told her. I don't know. But in 2020, so another person saying it's 2027, and she said 1% of the people something, and she was telling this girl, now you're going to be 1% of the people. So I don't know. I think I would say that is about the people who have awoken and did have communication with their guides, or because even people who are listening to me, there was somehow you were led to this. So there was some connection, there was something with how you were led to hear me rather than some of these other people. And so And that is a small percentage of people. So it's a very small percentage of people until this goes mainstream. But when it goes mainstream, that is when the people are going to see things very differently. So it's going to be the smaller percentage of people is going to be leading the other people through their healing. So they're going to be representing the what these people want to become. So the people who have been doing their healing and changing, making changes in positive ways in their life are going to become more like leading the path from where we now are in this toxic artificial and stuff. So there's going to be this big change. I've talked about this before. Tons, you can hear tons and tons of spiritual people talking about this. There's a lot of people who have awareness of this, and this is where they start going into the chosen, the 144, all that stuff. All I know is it is a group of people, like and it's the majority of people over here, and the minority is the ones who, and I think that that's clear. I mean, even people who are waking, they get stuck. They don't really work on them. They don't really know what's happening. They don't really get why this is all happening and what they need to be doing. And so, but that information is also being blocked from them. They're interested, they're hungry for information, but the powers that be have been making sure that that information is being blocked. But there's going to be this change all of a sudden that changes, and that is going to be where then all these people, how I was always being shown, it's like all these people are looking over here and these people are going over here, and then all of a sudden all these people are going to look over here. And so it's this big change all of a sudden of looking in this other direction where we're all these weirdos over here doing this, and then all of a sudden everybody's going to look over there, and then they're going to be like, oh wait, we want to go this way. And so it's and you know, people want to get into their ego and be like, oh well, it's the chosen, it's the 140. It's just the role that you came here to play. It's the role, you know, and it has to do with your own karma and your own stories and stuff like that. But there's people who got the hand of God chose you. God Himself picked you out of all these souls and said, you are the best. You're going. It's like that's not how it goes. So but it is just a role, it's just changing directions, and it's people who can see the direction that we're going, and there's going to be a lot of different people, like I've said, leading us in different directions. So it's not going to just be one direction, it's going to be a lot, because we're going to have a lot of changes that are going to occur. So it is, you know, it's just people going in a different direction, and then people being like, well, I like where you're going, I want to go that way. So but there's lots of these people who get all up in their ego about it, and some of them, they're going in the wrong direction, and that's going to be exposed to, and it's going to be like a humiliation almost. But that has to do with confirmation. That has to do with their karmic debt. That has to do with what they're here to work through. So it's, you know, everybody has their own, like, you can't go against what you're here to do. It's like you're here to do what you're doing. And so but whatever it was that she said, she also said it was going to happen in 2027, and she said that this same thing, that there's going to be this small group of people who are going to start leading the other people. But see, the people who are leading can't be in that, you know, like I'm a leader. That's not. It's a different energy. It's an energy of, you know, this is the path I'm walking. This is where I'm going. This is what I'm doing, and that is, you know, it's as simple as that. And the people who are like, well, I want to go that way, that seems like a more better way to go, and so it's going in that direction. But it's not like, oh, I'm smarter than you, you guys better follow me, I'm the smartest one here, follow me. It's not like that. It's a ripple. It's a changing directions, going against the grain and creating a ripple, and then the ripple turns into a wave. And so it's but the way people interpret it and stuff gets so, you know, like they're better, they're chosen, they're all this stuff. So, anyways, but so she has that whole thing that she is really out there doing and saying in her coaching thing. So there's like this, I don't know. So I don't know. I'm kind of curious more about some of her things. You know, there's a lot of people who I've run across in this whole thing, And there's a lot of them who do decide like, well, I'm gonna go life coach. But see, I look at it different like that. Like, we're not supposed to be having information. Our communication is free. It's like the guides aren't sitting there saying, hey, you owe me for this. I'm going to tell you this, but you owe me. That's not the way it works. And so to turn around and tell the people, like, that would be like, Jesus is out there and he's saying, pay me and I'll tell you. It's like, no, it's free flowing information. And so I believe that we aren't meant to set up like, well, I'll be a life coach and I'll charge you a lot of money and stuff like that in order for you to get my information. But the but there is a way that like I said, the energy will shift and come back. And the way I see it all the time is it's these changes in censorship and the domains that are, holding our information. So, anyways, that's how I see things turning. But these other people are like, well, I've got to make it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to charge you and stuff. But it's like I see that as being going against the energy that we're going towards. So I don't know. So, but there's lots of those people out there, and but again, in her story, it's not just her that's the bad guy. Yeah, she played a part for sure. In this toxic relationship with her psychiatrist, but he also played a part. It can't be just one person who's toxic by themselves. It's two people, and they're both getting something, and they develop get this need met in each other. And then when one person breaks free, then it leaves the other person kind of abandoned. And she had a lot of toxic relationships. She talks about them like, dang, man, a lot of toxic relationships where that's where people start saying she's making this stuff up. No fucking way. Because there's a weird fucking, so she's got this whole weird thing with her psychiatrist. And she's got this whole weird thing with her counselor. She goes to a counselor and a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist is once a month, and it has to do with her meds. The counselor is every week, and it has to do with her life. She fell in love with the psychiatrist the moment she met him, the moment she saw him, which at the time it was Zoom because we weren't allowed to meet in person and stuff. So she fell in love with this fella and became obsessed with him. Then she goes to her counselor to talk about her obsession with him. The counselor becomes like all intrigued and is getting off on this weird thing. And then we bring in these energies, man, to teach us and show us things. Then she starts dating this guy who's a counselor, and then they're out on a date, and he starts talking about that he's in love with one of his patients, and so he starts saying that he is obsessed with this patient. He's got to relieve himself every time when she's coming. He's got to take care of business because, he can't even handle it. He shows up at her work. He is fantasizes about her all the time and stuff. And, he's sitting here telling her all this stuff, which is only feeding into her weird delusion with hers. And the whole thing was so weird. That's where people start being like, are you making this up? How can this be? But she's trying to show that the mental health community is not mentally sound. It's not mentally healthy. That there is a lot of toxic, crazy people out there. And that's one thing that my daughter and I were talking about. And totally agree. People who go into mental health a lot of times are trying to understand their own issues, and they don't work through their own issues. And then we've all seen as this healing has started that people think they go in and they heal one thing and they're healed. I'm fixed. I'm all fixed. It's like, no, it's a life journey. You are going to continue having things that are going to pull on you, and it's a journey of healing. It's not just a one-time deal and now you're fixed and now life is perfect. No, it's a continual thing. And so people who go and they think they heal themselves, and then they're going to go life coach or charge people money to help them through their problems, and then they have still toxic things. And there's tons of toxicity, tons of toxic people out there who try and market themselves as mental health professionals, because that was one of my last ones. Because whatever I was going through, like after my dark night and stuff, and I was going through it, and it could have been during my dark night, so I was already on Social Security at this point because I already was on disability, so I didn't have good insurance anymore, so trying to find a counselor on Medicare. But I know my one daughter especially, she's like, you got to get in counseling, you got to get in counseling. And I was super depressed. I was like, it was the dark night. I was facing myself. It was like seeing all of these sides of myself, and it was overwhelming me. I was just being hit hard with my patterns and seeing things and seeing everything clearly suddenly. And it's a lot when you do. And it's a lot to process. It's a lot. It gets people down. And you get suicide. A lot of people get suicidal, which I said. When this happens on the big scale, there's going to be a lot of people who are not going to get through it. They're going to opt out. But just remember, when people start opting out, you can't opt out unless that's the way you're meant to go. So it's going to seem like, oh, all these people are coming. Well, it's a part of the storyline of the collective. It's a part of the whole storyline. It's the bigger story. So it's not just them in particular. It's their part that they're playing for the completion of the big story. So but so she had told me, there was a few people, I thought it seemed like a few people that were telling me, you gotta get in counseling, you gotta get in counseling. And I was probably crying all the time, like no telling, what I was like to other people, what the other people were witnessing in me. I'm sure I was falling apart. And so, I felt very down, like, fuck, my life is, it was just fucked, man. I felt like I was just getting kicked nonstop. I got brain injury. It was just one thing after another, man. Lose my house, I was just fucked. And so, anyways, they said, go see a counselor. And so it was like, okay, well, there's like one counselor on my insurance that I can go to. So I made an appointment, and I went in and saw him one time. I ended up seeing him 2 times, I think. But the first time, it was real weird. And, I wanted to talk about, I think at the time it was like I was processing through something. It was something, and I wanted to talk about that. Oh, that's not what he wanted to talk about. He wanted to talk about all of the molestation, all those things that happened to me as a kid. And that's all he wanted to talk about. And he came and sat down next to me and stuff. I don't remember if I went through the whole session. Once I left there, I was like, fuck that guy. That guy is a perv. There's something wrong with him. And there's no way I'm going back. And so my daughter wanted me to turn him into the board. And she's always investigating stuff. And she went and looked it up. And I think he had other people make charges against him. But yeah, I mean, there's fucking people out there that you go trust, and you think that they're out there helping you, and they've got their own issues. And this psychiatrist, it isn't just this Kendra that was toxic. The psychiatrist played a part too. They were both getting something out of this relationship. And that's where you got to be honest with yourself. In any toxic relationship, you got to be honest of what it is you're getting. You're getting something out of it. There's some part that you are playing that you're getting something back that's feeding into something inside of you. And that's where you can make the changes, is to be honest with yourself and see your own side, your own part that you're playing. That's how things change. Everything is through awareness. Everything is being real and being honest with yourself. And that's how you can make the big changes that you want in your life. Can't change anybody else. You can only change yourself. And so it's up to you. Yesterday I was outside with a mirror, and I was like, man, there is, the way the sun was shining, I was like, I think I have got silver hairs throughout. It's always funny because this light makes my hair look so much darker. My hair is so much blonder outside. But But I was like, fuck, man, I have a lot of silver in there, it seems like to me. So I don't know. I don't know. I just keep, drinking the copper, drinking the iron, drinking like all of the minerals and stuff. You know, and I know aging isn't real. So, but they keep doing things and poisoning us to just beat us down and beat us down and make us sicker and draw the minerals out and stuff. So it's like you're fighting to, trying to climb a waterfall, swear to God. But things are going to get better. And so, but I did see there is tons of air that's coming in. When I was out there in the light with the mirror, I could see like this has got tons of hair coming in. And so we'll see, like, because right there, it doesn't look so much as white as this, right? It is look like it's coming in somewhat darker, but there is still this white hair too. But anyways, so it is growing a lot of hair, but we'll see now if, I'm going to see how this collagen works and see what that does. And then also, I've been on the B12. I've gone through one of the little bottles. I just started the second one. I'm definitely going to get more of that stuff. I'm telling you, that stuff is like, I know I have a deficiency in that. Well, they found a deficiency in that when I was getting all those tests for my brain injury. But then at some point, then I started being okay with it. But now I would say probably through all of the toxins and stuff like that, I've been depleted again or something. Because when I take it, it does make me feel like, fuck, man, I got energy. God dang. Like, it feels, yeah, I think you feel more awake. Oh, it's the dog soup. So it's been like an hour and a half or something. Oh, an hour and a half, that's right. So, anyways, and then my tooth keeps being super sensitive. That toothpaste is supposed to get here today, so we'll see what the probiotic toothpaste does. But that is being, and I really feel like it's just like the nerve endings are all like, it's just like healing. It's like it's got a lot to do to rebuild your tooth. So you just got to kind of go through it. There's not a hole in there anymore. So, and it's not that kind of pain. It's like a sensitivity, but lately all my teeth have been like if I drink something cold, all my teeth. So, oh my gosh, this is gonna be, I'm just gonna have to give her, oh gosh, it's so rough, man. I wish I could just fix it. I wish I could just make her all better. I wish I could just take away her pain. I wish it was magic. I know there is magic, but they block us from it. It's like, fuck, I just want everybody to wake up so we can get to the magic, man. I want to get in the magic. I want to get in the med beds. I want to raise the vibration. I want things to start going good. It's like, fuck. So, anyways, but in order to get there, you know what we got to do? We got to learn how to love ourselves. We got to learn how to love everybody. And we got to learn how to have the day we want to have because it's up to us. So anyways, we'll talk about it some more tomorrow. Hopefully I finished everything I was going to talk about. So we'll talk about it later. Talk to you later. Bye.